Well, today, Australia's AAA credit rating has been reaffirmed. Fitch Credit Rating Agency has upgraded its economic outlook for Australia, saying that the economic recovery will continue and that they are expecting a strong bounce back in Australia's labour market. Australia is one of only 9 countries in the world to have a AAA credit rating from the 3 leading credit rating agencies. Today, we also got the jobs data for the month of September. The unemployment rate is at 4.6%, slightly better than what the market was expecting. Although the headline unemployment rate doesn't tell the full story of the impact on the labour market of the lockdowns in our 2 largest states of New South Wales and Victoria. The participation rate was down, and there are still many Australians who are doing it tough and who indeed have been stood down on 0 hours. 90% of the jobs that were lost in the month of September were in Victoria, where hours worked fell, and there are now 173,000 people in Victoria who have been stood down on 0 hours. This is a telling reminder of why we must stick to our plan agreed at National Cabinet to reopen our economy safely. And in New South Wales, we have some preliminary economic data which is positive. It shows that since New South Wales has reached the 70% double dose vaccination rates, more than 500,000 people have come off the COVID disaster payment. It's still early days, but the signs are very positive. When you open up your economy, people get back to work. The quicker you open up the economy, the quicker the recovery takes hold. This is a critical message. Finally, the Australian economy has shown remarkable resilience in the face of the biggest economic shock since the Great Depression. Job ads are still more than 20% above where they were going into the pandemic. And over the course of the last week, we've seen business and consumer confidence increase. There are some positive signs there in the Australian economy that once we open up fully, jobs will come back and our recovery will even gain further pace. Australians have good reason to look forward to a great summer. Are there any questions? Well, what we've seen is the COVID disaster payment has been emergency support for those people who have been in need. We've seen around 700,000 people in Victoria having received that payment, and we've seen over 1 million in New South Wales at various stages of this Delta lockdown. But these are emergency payments, and they can't be there forever, just like lockdowns can't be there forever. So what we have said is at 70% double dose vaccination rates, people will need to reapply on a weekly basis for that COVID disaster payment. And we're already seeing a boost to economic activity across New South Wales as they have reached that target and are starting to open in a COVID-safe way. We've also said once you get to the 80% double dose vaccination rates that there will be a tapering down, and we've already made announcements in that particular regard. But the cheapest form of stimulus for the economy is vaccinations. And that's why it's so pleasing to see in the ACT a first dose vaccination rate above 95%, in New South Wales above 90%, in Victoria above 85%, and Queensland and Western Australia are of course catching up too. So it's really important that Australians see the vaccination rate as their ticket out of this crisis, and that we open up in a COVID-safe way.